I made Patrick Star from the Bikini Bottom chess website play a chess game with Martin, everyone's favorite. And this is the closest to perfect chess anybody's ever gonna get. So let's go. The game started with f3 from Martin and Patrick went c6. Mistakes already. We have c3 from Martin and Patrick went knight a6. A very strange and passive approach from both Martin and Patrick. However, Martin now went e4. Good move, takes some space. And Patrick Star decided to go back with the knight. He changed his mind. He didn't want to go there anymore. And Martin now went bishop a2. Solid move. And Patrick Star went a6. Patrick Star really chilling, pushing some pawns and knight on this side of the board. Not really worrying about the principles of chess, developing pieces and taking space. Martin went a3, wanting to match Patrick Star a bit. And Patrick went queen a5, just developing the queen as noobs usually does, you know. And Martin here goes a4, a very, very good move that does a lot. And Patrick Star went queen e5, wanting to centralize the queen. Here Martin has a very nice move that would kick out the queen. But Martin instead goes rook a3, which apparently is a miss because of d4, of course, which is a really good move. And here Martin Star plays a very, very interesting move. I will give you 3 guesses to try and guess it, and I will assure you probably won't be able to, because this is such an insane move. Like, this should be a brilliant or something, really, although it wasn't. The move is queen takes h2. What? Like, queen takes h2, just blundering a queen for a pawn. Like, how is this even possible? How is it possible that someone plays this move? I don't understand. Not even a 2-year-old would play this. Anyways, Martin takes the queen. Martin's like, what the heck are you doing, stupid Patrick Star? Patrick Star went d6 now. So Patrick Star just sacrifices a queen and then went d6. Yeah, very, very good. And Martin goes king f1. Martin is confident here. Patrick just blundered the queen, so I might as well just move my king and mock him a bit, you know. That's what Martin has on his mind, I would assume. And here, Patrick Star goes a5, wanted to match Martin playing a5 earlier, preventing Martin to continue pushing their pawn. And Martin went d3, opening up for the bishop. Solid move, letting the knight develop. Although here Patrick went knight f6, which is a good move. Patrick Star finally starting to develop their pieces. Very nice. And Martin goes queen e1. I don't know what's the purpose of this is really. Maybe to bring out the queen this way. Sure. And here Patrick Star went knight g4, attacking the rook. Pretty decent move, right? If it wasn't for the fact that he could just take the knight completely for free. But Martin doesn't do that. Martin instead goes rook back to a1. Martin, I don't know what to say. Martin just changed their mind on developing the rook there, and yeah. Here Patrick Star doesn't actually take the rook because Patrick Star has more sinister ideas on mind. Patrick Star goes knight e3 check, checking the queen. Although this actually has runs a knight in one move because the bishop can actually just take the knight. But Martin doesn't want to do that, so Martin instead goes queen a f2, attacking the knight another time. And now Patrick Star plays an absolutely outrageous move. Patrick doesn't want this fork. Patrick, instead he wants to go knight f1, attack the rook. Like, what is this? This is the ugliest, weirdest move I've ever seen. Martin can take the knight in 3 different ways, but nope. Martin goes b3 instead. Yeah, I mean, okay. And here Patrick Star, of course, takes their d5. Right, okay. But now Martin at least takes them queen d1. Okay, so now Patrick maybe takes the rook. No, Patrick instead blunders the pawn in one move. The knight is still just chilling here. And now Martin goes rook a2, still not taking the knight. I thought he would actually take the knight, but he didn't. And Martin now Patrick now goes g5, which would be a pretty decent move if it wasn't for the fact that the knight is completely hanging and he can take a rook. Because now Patrick Star is going for an attack, looking to push up the pawn. And here finally, Martin takes, not Stockfish, Martin and Stockfish isn't the same thing. Martin finally takes the knight. Thank God. And here, Martin's actually has up 11 points of material. Martin has a queen and a horse for 1 pawn. And Patrick Star goes rook g7, looking to defend the pawn. Okay, makes sense. Martin goes rook a3, doesn't make sense. And here, Patrick goes g4, which actually is a good move, looking to get the attack going. If we take, then this bishop is getting in and an attack is incoming, perhaps. And if you don't take, like Martin didn't do, Martin went rook h6, which is a pretty good move, but if Martin like decided to go here or something, then this would actually be a fork. And not only would it be a fork, but Patrick Star would actually just make a new queen because this is unstoppable. That didn't happen. Instead, rook h6 was played, and here Patrick Star actually plays a good move, f5. Patrick's not stressing about getting an attack going, he's stressing about pushing the pawn or something. Patrick Star instead getting more pawns into the attack. And here, Martin goes queen c2, and Patrick goes f4, which would be a decent move if it wasn't for the fact that it actually just loses a pawn. But Martin, of course, doesn't take the pawn. Martin goes king e2 instead, looking to get the king out of the attack. Patrick goes rook a7. And now rook a2 was played. I don't know why, don't ask me. I'm just going to look at the moves. Rook a8 again. Patrick may be wanting a draw. Martin goes, attacks the pawn. And Patrick Star moves the bishop here, blundering it in one move. Although Martin, of course, doesn't take the bishop. Martin goes back. And here Patrick Star went king d8. Yeah, the bishop is still hanging, by the way. But Martin has to take it. Martin goes to rook b2 instead, of course. Now Patrick Star realizes, oh wait, my bishop was hanging. Let's move it back to c8. Martin goes bishop d2 instead of taking the free pawn. Just developing the bishop over here. Very good. Not really. We have b5. Patrick starting to get aggressive, pushing their pawn. We have king back to d1. Martin being very passive, looking to protect the king behind all of these pieces and pawns. Patrick Star goes e5, pushing yet another pawn. Patrick is really going aggressive here. We have bishop back to e1, and now rook f7, which is a discovery attack on this rook. Martin doesn't actually blunder it though. Martin goes rook h5, which is the best move, attacking this pawn. And here Patrick goes bishop a6, blundering the pawn. Martin doesn't take it though, of course. Martin goes d4, rook g7, bishop d3, knight d7, takes, and Patrick closing up the position by playing g3. We have a takes b7, and now Patrick, of course, takes the pawn. Oops. Martin, of course, takes the pawn back. Nope, Patrick instead goes knight b6, but Martin doesn't want to take the pawn. Martin instead brings the king up. Bishop a3 would be a decent move attacking the rook if it wasn't for the fact that it blunders a bishop in one move. Although Martin doesn't see it, of course. Martin instead blunders the rook. But Patrick, of course, doesn't take it. Instead, Patrick goes back and blunders a bishop in one move. And here, what do Martin play? Rook h4. Taking a pawn, of course, instead. And h6 blunders a pawn. King back. Yeah, king c8. Now, finally, Martin decides to take one of the two hanging bishops. Took a while. Now, rook b5. The other bishop is still hanging, and it can't actually be saved because it's trapped. Knight d7, not only still having the bishop blunder, but actually has bounced a fork as well. We have rook a2, we have a4, and now finally Martin finds the fork. Wow. And yeah, takes. And Martin blunders a rook back, but okay, nope, there. Okay, doesn't even take the rook. And knight h3, bishop b7, blundering the bishop into the fork yet again. Martin instead goes queen there, doesn't even take neither of something here. Okay, so takes, and now queen back. Yeah, Martin, you didn't really achieve that much there, did you? H5, wow, okay. Martin goes there. These pieces are still hanging, by the way, and this pawn can still be taken. We have bishop there taking the rook, and that rook goes there. And here Martin doesn't take the rook, Martin instead takes a pawn. Check, which kind of forces the loss of a rook for a bishop because the king can't move, so it would be checkmate if he didn't take. So, well, yeah. So essentially Patrick forces Martin into a winning trade, and Patrick doesn't even take the pawn back. Okay. Martin here could of course move the bishop, but Martin has more sinister ideas. Point is that this is actually checkmate. Ooh. And guess what Patrick plays here? Knight b8, which blunders mate him on, which Martin of course saw because Martin is such a good player. So Martin won. Yeah, this game was so bad and chaotic. However, the game review decides to say otherwise. Well, according to the evaluation on chess.com, according to the accuracy, Martin played with 75.5% accuracy, no mistakes and no blunders, only 1 miss, 5 inaccuracies. Right. And Patrick, who played like a complete something, had 63% accuracy, which is higher than 50% on my bullet games, so yeah, that's pretty brutal. But anyways, yeah, that's all for this game. I'm going to go through up or something. But thank you for watching. That's all. Please like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and peace out.